What industry do you consider to be legal? Organized crime? Yelp advertise your business with them to increase engagement and gain positive reviews, but when you stop advertising, they suppress positive reviews and promote negative reviews. Cable TV companies that have eliminated the competition in an entire town. Lobbying, H&R Block, TurboTax, paid health insurance. Pharmacy benefit management, the root cause behind why it is impossible to get honest and transparent drug pricing. Printer inks. U.S. health insurance. United Healthcare posted $5 billion in profits in the third quarter last year. The Church of Scientology. Ticketmaster. I scrolled for a while and did see it, so I'll throw out ISP/cable providers. They are almost literal monopolies who try their best to pretend they are something else to get legal protections they don't deserve. Anything based around an MLM. Payday loans. I scrolled for a while and was surprised not to see the online gambling industry. The offline gambling industry too. As a MetLife customer service representative, insurances. Lobbyists. The student loan industry is BS. Diamonds. It's not really an industry, but the whole management of football in Europe seems to be corrupted to the bone. Tow truck companies. Legally allowed to steal your vehicle and force you to pay exorbitant fees to get it back. The bottled water industry. The American prison system. America's health industry. U.S. Congress, insider trading. All insurance companies, especially health insurance. Megachurches, religion in general, but those megachurches and their TV preachers begging money from poor suckers just infuriates me to no end. Plus, they're huge dicks about it. I had a guy from Yelp bug the out of me when I didn't want to pay for their service, so he started telling me that they were going to put banners for my competitors directly above my listing. I toms him I didn't care, cause I've only ever had one person contact me because of Yelp, so he just told me that my business will definitely fail without them, because it didn't seem like I was savvy enough to hack it. Many cities have laws that there can't be competition. Originally was sold as a way to get cable companies to build the infrastructure with the promise of a short-term monopoly. Decades later, they still have the monopolies. Same with electric companies that have a monopoly. We can technically go with another company for the supply, but the servicing and billing will still be with the one electric company in our area. Their billing mistakes are legendary. We once got a bill for a month's electric for $14,000, this is for our small business, where the monthly charge is usually about $850. When we called and pointed out the error, after being on hold off and on for about 4 hours, they weren't even apologetic. I've used TurboTax for a lot of years. Last year when I was filing TT had a bug that prevented me from filling my taxes. They never fixed the bug. Ended up using FreeDXSA. Cheaper, easier to use, no bugs. You just said lobbying 4 times. This 100% should be at the top. Source, I am a pharmacist edit, just to spread awareness, some insurance companies, Caremark, for example, own the pharmacies themselves, CVS, and the PBM, Pharmacy Benefit Manager. Vertical monopoly, should be illegal. Comment below. Dropped this amazing video https://youtube.b/_khh6pznhcm. This needs more attention. It's extortion. The newer the printer, the worse they are. Chips that require brand name ink and toner to be used. Refusal to print in black and white until you buy yellow. Toner quantity determined by number of pages printed, not amount of toner used. We have analyzers at work that only print in black and white, but since the printer they chose was the only one ever approved for that analyzer, we have to use it. We have to stock all the color toners, even though they have never been used. That, however, does not keep the color toner from gradually migrating into the waste toner cartridge. Any government with any level of competence would outlaw this. They are literally incentivized to charge you more and provide less in service in order to make more profit. They are grifters and redundant middlemen in every way. L. Ron Hubbard admitted in a letter to a friend 2 or so years before he designed Dianetics that the plan was to create a religion for profit because people are enough to believe anything for the sake of security. How can even the most powerful of Scientology leaders see that and think, hey, well, time to cover it up, knowing they're being exploited as much as the people they, in turn, exploit? This. I had just bought 2 tickets and paid a service fee. Last minute I couldn't go, and resold back on Ticketmaster, trying to just get what I paid back. Ticketmaster took another 15% from me and from the new buyer. Triple dipped 1 ticket, it's absurd. And the absolute cheek of some of the bastards too. I left an apartment a few years ago, I called to cancel the internet, they tried making me pay £50 for the privilege. Like dude, I know exactly what's involved for you to do this. I'm not paying £50 for it. It'll be off my credit report in a year or so. Never paid it. It's the principle. My parents got scooped up in this. Amway, I think it's called. Some double diamond lady got them to sell their products for years. They had to go to North Carolina for some big Amway conference and it was nothing but these diamonds showing off their mansions, boats, cars, etc. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Funny and sad story. Guy that sits at the desk opposite to mine that works for a different company as we are all contractors. We always chat a little as he is kind of fed up with his company and was asking about ours. Anyway, he goes into his life story of how a MLM company convinced him to cash out all his 401k, sell his house and the promise of being his own boss, making lots of money, etc. A year in he is only making like $500 per month and can't afford to live, so he gets the job he has now to make a living. He had a great job before all this. Said he now has no retirement, is renting and barely is getting by per month. He is married and has like 3 kids. My entire thoughts during this were, this guy was not only naive but to buy into this garbage. How is it that this MLM convinced him to his life over? Made my skin crawl as I hate MLMs, but this was a first for me. Yes. They are despicable. And the laws that enable them. I hate payday loans, but when I was in a place in my life where I used those for a while, there was zero chance any other person or business would lend me a dime. I was a terrible credit risk, but I needed quick cash to tide me over. If we're going to abolish these places, then someone needs to come up with a replacement. Came to say this. Insurance is one of the only industries where it is perfectly okay to do many dodgy things. 1. Share information about customers between companies. Insurance companies tell each other when you make a claim, and what it was, and what the result of that claim is. In any other industry that's illegal too, when you pay their price, and use their product exactly as intended, i.e. to make a claim when something bad happens, then they put the price up next year. And if you try to go to one of their competitors, they go off, but company A says you made a claim, so therefore the price is the same here for you. In many other industries that's illegal, but in insurance it's accepted as normal. 3. They get away with discriminating based on protected characteristics. Studies have shown black people who live in the same areas will be generally given higher quotes than white people, for example. Insurance companies say it's based on other factors in their personal history, of course. 4. In many cases you are forced to have insurance, so you cannot refuse to pay their rates, regardless of how much your rates go up. In the UK, for example, you must have car insurance to drive. But if you have some random trash your car one night through no fault of your own, you have to pay loads more for years because you lose your no-claim bonus for 5 years. 5. Lack of competition. It looks like there is loads of competition with all the different companies on offer, but in reality, like many industries, there are only a handful in most countries behind all the brand names, which are usually run by only a couple of people. So they can all keep their rates comparable very easily, and share data. Insurance as a concept is a good idea. Insurance as an industry is a massive scam. Edit. For those of you who missed the last line, maybe read my comment in full. I'm not saying having insurance is a bad idea, I'm saying the way the industry is run in most countries is a scam. Having insurance in case your house burns down, or so you can cover someone's medical bills in a car accident, is a good thing. And I'm sorry to all you Americans who have to deal with medical insurance, but to all of you who have assumed I'm in the US, I'm not. But I'm very glad I don't have to deal with that particular insurance nightmare that you all do. It's horrible hearing replies from people who have had corporations decide what medical treatment their family could have. Yeah, the idea behind lobbying makes sense in theory. Congress members can't be experts on everything. If Congress is all voting on a measure regarding the environment, or gun safety, it makes sense to have people who work in those fields coming to provide their expert advice to Congress so they can make an informed decision. Somewhere along the line it just morphed into legalized bribery. College in the US as a whole is BS for the most part, let's be honest. They also seem to hire the most surly people available. Did you get fired from your last 6 customer service jobs for being rude? You're a perfect fit. Dude, that called me literally told me that because I didn't pay them for advertising that my business will do so bad that I won't be able to feed my kids and CPS will take them away. I was like, bye, you wanna fight today, hey? There's nothing more permanent than a temporary government policy. Ended up using Friedrichshaus. Cheaper, well, with a name like that, I'd expect it to be 100% cheaper. Pharmacy lawyer. 60% of our business is fighting PBMs. It's an absolute racket. We're hoping Grassley's bill get passed this year. I think CVS bought something else recently. They are pushing to be your insurance, doctor, and pharmacy. All the while stating this is for the consumer. Recently they announced shorter pharmacy hours, opening an hour later and closing an hour earlier. They say they lack employees, so this is to somehow help consumers. So now you have a smaller window to pick up your meds and employees have 2 less hours to get stuff done, overloading the workers more. Essentially they get to reduce payroll and try to maintain same output. Profits. Someone posted a screenshot yesterday on Reddit of the fees they were trying to charge on a couple Super Bowl tickets. The tickets themselves came out to like $4,000, and the fees were like $2,500. $2,500 in service fees for tickets. That's some BS. At that point, just be honest and call it a commission fee. Back in the late 80s, my mother was trying and failing at selling Amway when she got an unexpected knock at the door. It was the Jehovah's Witnesses trying to sell her some religion. She invited them in thinking she could sell them some Amway and ended up joining their protecting apocalypse cult. It's the sunk cost fallacy. I have invested X amount of time and money into this. I will have lost that money, time, and the status unless I keep going forward. If you go to the sales pitches, you get bombarded with winner stories of people who made mad cash. It's all as fake as TikTok millionaires. This is also true for Scientology, Mormonism, and ultimately the Catholic Church. Just because your religion, edit, is based on older religions that have been, and edit, around since the Bronze Ages, doesn't mean it's not taking your money, keeping it, and manipulating you and your family, in some cases for generations. Colorado passed a law recently to cap the interest rate on them. 36% is the max rate they can charge now. It's still high, of course, but at least there is a max now. I worked at one of those places for 3 whole days. It was insufferable. Determined face they must go through a lot of employees, because they were talking management jobs on day 2. I agree. Are they predatory? Yes. Did they stop me from losing my house, truck, and by extension job? Also yes. Nobody thinks going to a payday loan is a good deal, but there is no other way sometimes. 4. In many cases you are forced to have insurance. When I was buying my apartment, the solicitor told me I couldn't finish the purchase until I had home insurance. The home insurance company told me they wouldn't give me insurance until I had a move-in date. I ended up forwarded both of their emails to each other and simply writing, one of you is going to have to break this idiotic loop. This is what committees are for. And Congress used to pay experts for their insight in areas. It inverted to where interests pay for Congress's attention now. My car got towed years ago. My roommate drove me to the lot. My car was parked in the lot. I just got in and drove it home. Never heard a word from the towing company. I always enjoy when a new toll road is built with the promise that the toll will go away once it's paid off or after X years. Has any toll ever gone away? I think CVS bought something else recently. They are pushing to be your insurance, doctor, and pharmacy. They bought Aetna, which is one of the biggest health insurance companies in the US. So they now control the pharmacy, PBM, and what health coverage you have in general. I'm sure Aetna is now also bundling in Caremark drug coverage so that CVS gets to double dip. Recently they announced shorter pharmacy hours, opening an hour later and closing an hour earlier. Not only this, CVS is also closing 900 stores between 2021 and 2024, which means even more savings for them and even more inconvenience/lack of access for the consumer. The semi-secret about service fees is a chunk of them often go to the venue. The venue wants to charge more for the tickets, but that would be bad PR. Ticketmaster agrees to be the bad guy. Using those Super Bowl tickets as an example, tickets were really $5,500. Ticketmaster gave the venue $1,500 of the service fee so that the tickets were only $4,000. Jesus Christ. 36%. They were like, you made it past day 1, that's further than 50% of employees. Keep this up and you'll be management by the end of the week. Did they break the idiotic loop? Because I can honestly believe both of them wrote back to you and said this is your responsibility. The semi-secret about service fees is a chunk of them often go to the venue. You mean the venue's owned by Live Nation, who is owned by Ticketmaster? I feel like Jesus Christ would flip a few tables in the temple over this. I ended up making up a move-in date for the insurance company. I paid for a extra month where I wasn't actually in the place, but it got the wheels turning again.